Well, it is so wonderful to meet you because I really think that this is the show we need right now because I mean, I feel bad for so many people. They're buying houses, they're going for the gusto, they don't know what they get, and then they're like, oh no. Is that kind of what you're finding?
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely what we're finding. I feel like a lot of people, particularly in this really hot housing market, are kind of, fools rush in and we're, rosy colored lenses. And, a lot of people have lost out on a couple of houses because, offers are popping. And so I think we're just like willing, as I know I am, willing to overlook kind of a world of hurt for like a few of our checked boxes, and then we get in and kind of unsettle, and it's like all of a sudden there's kind of the like record scratch moment.
Yeah.
You realize what you've gotten yourself into.
I know, because I know there's a lot of people that are like no contingencies. And then like, are you finding things like as bad as like, because I know my son's living in a rental right now and half of the room is sinking. And this person, his landlord has it on the market for like $500,000 and she's getting offers. Like, are you finding it where it's that bad or is it worse?
Us here in San Antonio, it is. I think this is kind of the craziest. I mean, I'm in a rental as well because we kind of accidentally sold our house unexpectedly last year to, and so I
Yeah.
just feel like more and more people, they're kind of like, okay, either we have to get something or we weren't planning to stay in this house, but now we are because we can't get something else. And so, how do we make the house that we're in work for us right now?
Yeah, yeah. And that's a really good point because I know perhaps some families are like, they have more children and they're like ready to move up and then they're like, we can't. So are you finding that to be the case where you're trying to reconfigure a house?
Yeah, between added, children and like taking on parents, or now we're both working from home and we only have one office or no office and we're driving each other crazy. There seem to just be kind of like this whole laundry list of things that are, falling apart for people. So it's really fun for us because I think we get to kind of come in and help triage the situation and get them back in a good spot, which I just think spaces matter so much, so when we're in our homes, they directly affect the way we feel every day,
Mhm.
for sure. And making those spaces feel beautiful and feel like a reflection of the people that live there, it just seems like super important work. So I feel excited and honored that I get to do it. And then it's even more fun to do it on TV. So
Yeah, and with your husband. I mean, yeah,
yes,
it's
that's funny.
yeah, it is funny. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
You have this great knack of like, I always wonder how people kind of get the vibe of their client so they know like what's really in their heart. Because to me, that seems like it would be really hard to do. What kind of process do you go through to find like exactly what's going to make them happy?
I think it is one of the hardest and also most important parts. I feel like as a designer, a lot of times, we have things that we want to see happen. And I still find myself in those little moments with clients where I'm like, but I promise you, you will like this. But I think figuring out like who people are, reading their mail, what is this best version of them that you want to help bring to life. It's like you kind of want to figure out what is it that they're wanting and then give them the best version of it.
Mhm.
For us, I think it's just about listening and really paying attention to the things that people say and not assuming, which is hard for me, not assuming that I know. We kind of have this whole survey process. There's a lot of imagery involved because, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it is.
Mhm.
But also, we do this design assessment meeting where we sort of show people a random grouping of objects, things that's not your traditional, like, this is your tile, this is your wallpaper, this is your paint color. It's like, how do these things make you feel and why? So a lot of times for me, it's like digging in on what's nostalgic to people, which has to do with like where are their favorite places to travel, where are they from, are they from the country, are they from another country, and really piecing together, things that feel like home for them or
Yeah.
trigger happy memories.
Yeah, I feel like you really nailed that. Way back when one of the times I saw you on television is when you were on Southern Charm and you did Chelsea's house. And I remember it was so her, like the colors, the designs. Was that really what kind of sparked the creative juices for you?
Was, my project doing Chelsea's house was my first job kind of out on my own. I had been working for another designer here in San Antonio before that. And so that was my first foray into like just, seeing what I could do. And it was fun with Chelsea. Number one, I know her so well. So that was easy for me in a sense. I was almost like doing it for a sister, but then she just let me have creative freedom, which that is another thing that I, am looking for with people that I want to work with. Cause it's so fun when you kind of get to like go hog wild. And yeah, it did. It felt so her, it was so cool. It was so funky. She doesn't care about traditions or what everyone else is doing. And that just made that project a blast. So I think that was a good jumping off point for me. Like I look for those types of traits in people that I'm going to work with, are they really, are they down? Are they
Yeah. Yeah, and I know she she sort of has a design, thumb, is she getting into that aspect?
Yes. She is like such a creative person. You can see it in the way that she puts together her clothes. I think what was fun about it is she didn't have a lot of confidence in it when we did her house. Like she was really questioning all of her decisions the entire time, and like really didn't trust herself. But I feel like through that process, she saw the things that she picked out were really cool, and it all came together. And so she's really like, got her design wings spread, and she's doing some really cool things there in Charleston. So it's fun. We like to do it together, and we often text each other and we're like, which wallpaper are you more excited about?
I love that.
We like that.
So is she moving into the design space now too?
I don't know if she is. I think, it's funny. We talk about it a lot. I think she's kind of like dabbling. Maybe she has her toes dipped in. And I think she's open and willing to see what comes her way. So
Very cool.
Where that goes.
I know. We miss her on Southern Charm. So.
She's meant to be on television.
So. She is. Well, maybe you guys should do more collabs. So.
I hope so.
Yeah, speaking of collabs, you guys met on Survivor. How would you say that experience, because that's such a unique experience, has sort of set you up for different aspects of your life, like what your job is, but also being a mom, how's that?
Totally has in all ways. It was kind of a life-changing trajectory, changing experience for me. I think not only, career-wise or having doors open for me, opportunity-wise, but also just like what it told me about myself at such an important moment in my life where I needed to trust myself and trust my decisions. Like there's just something about Survivor that takes you so freaking low, like in a way that you don't ever get in real life. And you get all this clarity about like who you really are, what you really want, what do you want to be doing, what are the things that you're doing that you don't care about. And so I just came back like laser focused. And then quickly found this book called The Wealthy Gardener that was all about like vision casting, vision boards, manifestation. And I started making boards in my closet. And one of them was like, get my own HGTV show, which my husband made fun of me at the time. But I just think that's so important to like put in front of you, like where you're trying to go.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say too, being a parent, just being able to tap it's 2:00 in the morning, you have one diaper, your daughter's had a blowout, you know what I mean? Like do you find yourself kind of tapping into some of their Survivor skills with the kids?
All the time. I think it's funny though, this really came from way before that for me. So I have to give so much credit to my dad, because it's like my entire childhood as he was pushing us, he was like, I don't care about sports. I don't care about you playing in this game while you're sick or whatever it was. It's like, I'm trying to teach you how as a mom and you got a baby on your hip and one at your feet and dinner's burning, like not to run and not to quit and not to give up. And so I'm pretty sure that's gender bias now, but he told us that the entire time we were growing up. And it really did make a difference for me and like the kind of, mom I am, the kind of wife I am, which is not perfect, but definitely gritty and scrappy and trying really hard.
Yeah, well, parenthood is no joke. So,
it's really not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, no, it's probably Survivor's maybe a little easier.
Sure, and shorter, no doubt. The whole, 39 days thing and it's done.
That's true. That is true. So this season, what are some of the houses and some of the challenges that we're going to see you guys go through?
Yeah, I guess we're halfway through the season, and so there was a lot of things. I think just the overall challenge of renovating 7 houses in 24 weeks. Like I heard that was the production schedule, and I was like, okay, well, if other people are doing it, I'll do it with my can-do attitude. But I think I underestimated, being in a materials crisis. Everything takes forever to get right now. just getting it done, like, staying in there day after day, and like making sure that everything was where it needed to be and the houses got finished. And we had lots of delays and things didn't go according to plan, but it was really just kind of a hot potato thing. It was like wake up every day and like, what's the biggest issue, and then you just kind of go down the list.
So what would a normal then, like, not on a production schedule, what would it normally take then for something like one of your projects?
Yeah, a normal renovation now feels so easy after having done 7 at once. But I think it takes a team.
Yeah.
Like this, on the show, it looks like I kind of magically did everything myself, and
Yeah.
that's not the case. It really did take a village. We had the homeowners were incredible. Number one, like to sign up for season 1, not knowing what they were signing up for.
Mhm.
And they were just rock stars, rock solid. The builders, all of our subs, like it really did take a village to pull this off. So lots of lessons learned for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think there'll be another season? Because I'm sure there's a need.
I do. I'll be surprised if we don't. I think it all depends on ratings. So if it does well, then we'll have a season 2, and we're excited to do it and do it better. So
Yeah. Yeah. Is there something that you didn't tackle design wise this season that you perhaps would like to tackle?
Yeah, I think because it was our first season and we were kind of like afraid of what we were up against, we played it a little bit safe. We didn't in so many ways, but there were some things that I would like, some bells and whistles things that I would have loved to do. I think one of the things I'd like to tap into for season 2 is we realized it's, when you remodel someone's house and they've paid for it, there's just this certain measure of like, okay, awesome. But anytime we were able to surprise someone with something that they weren't expecting, it was just like it was like a very joyful thing to do. So I think we'd like to somehow figure out how to get to surprise people more, because that was just fun. So
Yeah, I love that. Okay, all right. Well, hopefully that's what we're going to see. And do you think also you guys might take the show on the road to different cities, or?
I think so. I hope not. Don't
Too much.
That idea. Yeah, no, I think just with the kids being little, it's really the only reason that this works for us, and it almost doesn't work just because the hours, but is that we're here in our hometown and we're able to come home every night at least and be when they wake up. So
well, I'm sure there's plenty of projects in your home, I mean,
it's a big city and it's a cool city, and we'd be thrilled to do it again. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, very cool show, very needed show. So glad to see you're back on our television.
With you this morning.
Yes, and hopefully, bring Chelsea in. She's awesome.
I agree. I'm a big fan.